I'll tell you what it is.
Stink on
Fuck is what it is.
We are.
Welcome to the Undercard Supercast for August 26th. The year is 2014. I'm your host, founder, editor, and Pittsburgh Steelers running back chauffeur of Undercard Superstar, Luke Irwin. Joining me tonight, if everything breaks right and the powers that be read my letters and accept my cash, he'll be the newest soldier in the Israeli army, Ben Cohn. Alongside him, a man who's made a t-shirt with his terrifying cat photoed on it like she got shot in a drive-by on MLK, Earl Montclair. Hopefully finally peaking at 82 Ebolas, Josh Hall. Thanks to his lust for doing the do, he's down to only 3 sperm, and 2 of those 3 are having nervous breakdowns right now, Nolan Howe. And lastly, Mr. Yuck model, Taylor Engel. Dateline, Josh Hall's quarantine bed, where a busy weekend in fights were happening, including an all-day UFC viewing orgy on Saturday. In honor of Kung Lee's shattered, broken face, who takes home your golden vanilla sky? And who is the unfortunate soul who is saddled with the disgusting, abhorrent, dehumanizing golden poop? Ben.
I definitely want to start with the golden vanilla sky. I'm gonna give it to Ben Saunders.
As well you should.
All right.
He made history by being the first man to ever finish an omoplata submission in the UFC. So I don't think that over the course of the weekend you can top that. He literally made history. And it was a triumphant re-return to the UFC. And did he end up getting a bonus or no?
Yep.
He did.
And
There was no part of the big bonus, actually, interestingly enough.
Yeah, so he ended up getting $50K, making history, and winning in his return to the UFC in 2 minutes. So he definitely gets my golden vanilla sky. Excuse me. Sorry. Golden poop, I'm going to give it to Francis Carmel. Because I actually think that, aside from the fact that he lost by knockout to a guy who's not known for knockout power at all, and is a grappler and a decision fighter for the most part, he also got knocked out, which is now his 3rd loss in a row, and he's not a popular fighter. He's incredibly unpopular and is known for his boring decision style, and a couple of decision wins he didn't deserve. And the reason specifically why I'm giving in the golden poop is because I feel like he might actually get released because of that loss. So I'm going to give it to Francis Carmel.
Yeah, the saddest thing about Francis Carmel maybe getting released is that that's the last we'll ever see a GSP probably ever, because he only ever shows up again to corner Francis. For me personally, my golden vanilla sky goes to Michael Bisping. Because he went out there and put Kung Lee through a goddamn wood chipper, and Kung looked every bit of it like he'd been through one. He did exactly what he needed to do in that fight, which was get through the first 7 or 8 minutes and then just chip away at Kung and break him down, and it's exactly what he did. The finish was great. Of course, now this leads us on the Michael Bisping career arc, which is going to be he's going to get probably maybe a top 12-7 fighter. He'd probably win that one, then move back up into the top 5 or a title eliminator, get beat horribly, and then repeat cycle all over again. But I mean, for this fight, he looked fantastic, and he really did a number on Kung, which is pretty cool in my book. So he gets the golden vanilla sky. The golden poop goes to my main man, Dong Young Kim. Because, honestly, man, there is a time and a place for spinning shit in a fight, and it is absolutely not 50 seconds into the first round against Tyron Woodley. This was kind of it was like kind of a typical fight for Woodley, because it's either, feast or famine with him. Either you're going to get something amazing or you're going to be bored to tears and be reduced to doing anything else other than watching the fight that's proceeding. So, he had a great knockout. He was prepared for that move, and, he executed a counter perfectly and took him out. But, as far as getting this win for him, Dong made it really easy for him to get this victory. So that's why he gets my golden poop.
Josh.
I'm going to go a little off the board with my golden vanilla sky. and actually leave professional MMA altogether. And I'm going to give it to Mayura Disanyake, who you might not know his name, but you've probably seen the video on YouTube of him kicking the shit out of two guys who tried to rob a gas station in Houston. And he had an amateur fight this weekend, and if he hits you, you fall. 18 seconds, just destroy the guy. And I just got to throw a little shout out to a local Houston guy that's kicking ass in important situations in real life and then doing it in the ring too. Golden poop. There's so much poop to spread around.
Oh man, story of my life.
How about Roland Delorme? For a guy who's a fairly decent submission grappler, getting just insta-choked in a minute 6 by Yuta Sasaki is not exactly what he wanted to have happen on his trip to Macau. Just a really, really bad showing.
For my Golden Vanilla Sky, I'll leave it to somebody else to take RDA, which is obviously the fighter of the week. So I'll go a little off the board, and I will go with Mirko Cro Cop. He's not dead yet. And actually, he competed in MMA over the weekend at a Inoki Genome fight and took a referee stoppage over Satoshi Ishii, and thus winning their heavyweight championship. So, while he may never be an active challenger in the UFC again, the guy still is winning fights, kicking heads, and defeating Japanese judo legends. So, he's got that going for him. My golden poop, I have two of them. Number one is Ikohisa Minowa, also known to some of you as Minowa Man. Minowa Man, in his 100-plus fights and wins on the earth, lost to a professional fighter in the co-main event of a Inoki Genome fight who had a career record of 0-2. So, and it was a stoppage loss.
The guy was 280 pounds, though. I mean, so it's not.
280 is one of 280 is it was one of the lighter fighters that Minowa Man has ever fought.
I know.
Yeah, hasn't Minowa Man fought guys like Bob Sapp size?
He defeated Bob Sapp specifically.
Hong Man Choi.
You are correct.
He defeated Hong Man Choi too.
280 is a mismatch for the 280 guy. And also, golden poop goes to Austin Trout. He was on the main event of the Friday Night Fights, ESPN season finale. Obviously, it was a treat to watch Austin Trout on ESPN2 free TV. And he was matched up against a fighter in Daniel Dawson, who's a journeyman of a journeyman of a journeyman. And he had a lifetime record of 40-3. He was 36 years old. He's fought once for a major title back in 2009. He has a grand total of one fight in the United States. It was a game plan for Trout to look good and jump back into contendership. BoxRec currently has Dawson as the 78th junior middleweight in the world. And Trout got put on his ass twice by the guy. Did do enough to earn a decision win, but that was clearly a showcase fight to make Trout look like a big deal. And he did it while looking at the lights twice. So not the dominant decision you want from a rebounding fighter like Austin Trout. So yeah, not impressive. Nolan?
Since I know who Taylor's probably going to pick, I'll go with RDA for my Golden Vanilla Sky. Ben Henderson makes everyone look ugly. He's tailor-made to...
Gorgeous.
Yeah, he does have long, gorgeous locks, and he tends to wear you down and make you fight in his fight, and it turns into a 48-47 fight usually. But RDA left no doubt. He knocked him out. Probably one of the best cases of improved striking we've seen in MMA. Just absolute beautiful work. And of course, the Golden Poop. We'll elaborate a little later, but I'm giving it to Dana White for his shenanigans at UFC Macau. It's uncalled for, and something needs to be done about that. We'll get to that later, though.
Taylor?
I am shocked that it was easy to peg Nolan. I really did want RDA there, but honestly, Jordan Mean looked so fucking good. So he's gonna get the Golden Vanilla Sky. Honestly, I was gonna say there might not be. There absolutely is, but of guys in the kind of 10 to 15 ranking in any weight class, there might not be a better power speed combination on the feet than Jordan Mean. The guy looked absolutely phenomenal. I don't really know who he's gonna get next. I think Tyron Woodley's a little too high up for him. I would love to see the loser of Rory and Safadine fight Mean. I feel like that'd be a really, really terrific fight. But for Jordan Mean to go out there and fucking up everybody's hashtag narrative with his dad getting arrested, good on him. And I wish the young Canadian lad the absolute best. And Golden Poop, I don't know if I've ever seen, I know everybody always bitches about pacing, and I always y'all are a bunch of bitches, but that was so atrocious. That was was it a 5-fight or a 6-fight main card?
Six.
6-fight main card, 5-round main event, and they're taking 25 minutes off between fights. I mean, it isn't fucking Metamoris telling me all about, the trinkets that Keaton Cornelius found on the Jersey Shore with his fucking metal detector. But, I don't give a shit about anything you're showing except for the fights. I don't need 20 minutes between fights to go to 7-Eleven and buy some Ben & Jerry's half-baked. Show me fights so I can go on with my life.
Especially after the fight card in the morning being really early. If you
Especially
tried to watch both,
for people that are covering the sport, people got up at 6 and probably didn't go to bed until 2 because the UFC is incapable of running a card within their time slot.
even one with a bunch of finishes.
It's unbelievable.
I feel like is it possible it's because it's free TV, they're trying to make up the money for the money that they're not making from pay-per-view, they're filling it with ads.
But you don't get paid over. If you run over, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you run over, you don't get extra ad time there.
They don't get extra ad time, but I think they're trying to fit in all the ads in the runtime, and then they'll go over with the fight, so it doesn't.
I mean, they don't take a baseball game and stretch it out to 3 hours to make sure it fits the time slot. If it's running under, though, the game ends because it ends. You don't just keep going.
And I can even understand running ads because you got to do what you got to do. But the other mindless shit, there was just so much just extra fat that could be trimmed.
Well, speaking of fat that can be trimmed, don't even talk about this because Matt Serra was fucking glorious during that broadcast.
As a strapping young man.
He looked amazing.
Well, that TRT that he's taking is really helping, I guess.
He looked like somebody put a suit on a meatball and put it in front of a camera. He was phenomenal. So I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh my god, that right there is an astute comparison. Racist, but astute.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Dateline, Macau, China. And listen, I know Macau is a special administrative region, so let's not get into a tizzy over semantics. All right, Ben? Asshole. A controversial decision by Dana White was made when he removed Judge Howard Hughes from his duties after the second fight. As you know, UFC controls the official sanctions for international fights due to a lack of governing bodies abroad. But this is the first time that a decision this heavy-handed, as even resembling this, has been made by the UFC. Was Dana justified, or was it an overstep in policy? Taylor.
Dana White is an overgrown 8-year-old. I would rather have Savage Atticus run the UFC than him. The guy's a fucking moron. You can't just pull a guy because you don't agree with his decisions. That's, bordering on. Well, it's not bordering. It's absolutely tampering. I would say, I almost stole a direct quote from the Deadspin article, but outside of actually fixing a fight, there's not a lot worse you can do than changing judges. It's absolutely terrible. Dana's a petulant moron, and fuck him. I don't really have a lot else to say other than Dana's a fucking moron that kind of just needs to go away for the UFC to grow.
Nolan?
Yeah, in case you needed any insight into Dana White's decision making, the very hot-headed decision maker, and this was proof Z of this really. it's absolutely, as the Deadspin article and TC reiterated, it's tampering. It's pretty much the closest thing you can do to fixing a fight. He didn't judge the way Dana thought it went, and he pulls him. Yeah, granted, I mean, they were bold decisions, but
Bold.
Bold is a very
Bold.
bold use of the word bold right there, because those were bullshit decisions.
He said,
Bull.
"Bull, you fucking flight risks."
Baby boy.
But lost my train of thought. Fantastic, thanks Ben, as usual.
That was me. I'm sorry.
Contribute there.
They were crappy decisions, but you know, just because the guy didn't judge it the way you saw it, and you know, you regulate the events. You bring these guys over. This is a guy that's been a hallmark on your international fight cards when you need to regulate yourself. So you need to keep your eye on that and take preemptive action rather than looking like an idiot and overstepping all your protocol.
The judging was especially egregious, but you know what? That's part of life. That's part of combat sports. That's part of all sports that rely on judges. That's just how the cookie crumbles when you're in the fight game. You know, there are especially bad referees. You're going to pull them midway through a fight? I mean, it's just bad judging is part of life. See Adelaide Bird or watch any of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s fights. There's always bad judging to be had, and although Dana, in a short-sighted way, yet again, probably thought he was doing a solid and, you know, helping out the fans. What, in essence, he was doing was providing a slope that was so slippery that you can get lost. You can go all the way down the rabbit hole with it, and you can't do it. It was egregious, and again, it's short-sightedness that Dana White is known for at this point, and it's not smart. And if you're in the fight, you cannot cast even the tiniest shadow of doubt onto the legitimacy of your promotion or your sport, because then everything falls apart. That is the house of cards that you remove one. I mean, that is the linchpin to all combat sports. And if that's in question even a little bit, then you might as well pack up shop, because your sport will never be taken seriously, or your promotion. Josh?
As bad as judging is in the sport, for me, that what Dana did is an issue not because of the what you guys are talking about, but because he literally doesn't have the authority to do it. Under UFC's regulations, they have an internal organization that is specifically not a promoter and not one of their executives that oversees basically the duties of the athletic commission. The UFC has their own commission, but it's done by an internal group that are specifically non-promoters for the very reason that you don't want your promoter messing with who's going to be judging fights in the middle of a card, because that's a terrible look. So the issue to me is that he shouldn't have been doing it in the first place, because whether it's looking at it as tampering or not, that's literally not his job. Of all the things that he does with the UFC, that is one thing that he specifically does not have the authority to do. And I think that Lorenzo's going to have a little sit-down with him, because some things just can't be done in the sport, and that's one of them.
Earl?
Okay, now, I understand all the points you guys are making, and they're perfectly legitimate. I'm not trying to undercut them, and I'm certainly not trying to say that they're wrong. But, I'm aside from the fact that all the things that you said, I'm pretty okay with it because of the following reasons. First of all, those two scores were fucking indefensible. And to start off a card back-to-back like that, with that level of just sheer incompetence being on display, is kind of a rough sign to go for the fighters that are coming up in the rest of the night. That being said, that's not looking out for the fans. That's looking out, I mean, sure, it's looking out for the fans, I guess, but it's like doing something like that is looking out for the fighters themselves. So the fighters that go in and put in this time and work their ass off and go out and perform and win a fight don't get fucked over. And it's really not a matter of Dana not agreeing with them. I mean, I'm sure in the moment it is, but the fact of the matter is those decisions were just egregious and atrocious and really, should not have been accepted from any legitimate opinion whatsoever. But as far as putting a black mark and a slippery slope on the sport, I kind of feel that the judging itself as it exists already, is putting enough of a black mark on the sport and keeping things from appearing above board and on the level. Because when you've got people like Diego Sanchez winning these fucking fights, people like Leonard Garcia wearing these fights, I don't want to beat them up. It's nothing against them personally, but it's their fights. Francis Carmon, these guys winning these fights, taking down legitimate contenders, taking down legitimate people who have won fights, taking money out of people's pockets because of pure incompetence. It's like, sure, it sends a lot of bad messages, but at the same time, it's like maybe just a little bit of a message of, hey, get your fucking shit together or you can be out of here, is a little bit worth it to me in a way. Because, I mean, really, the judging itself is a joke. Take the Nevada State Athletic Commission hearings are a joke. Vanderlei no-shows. He's probably going to get licensed anyways after his suspension is up, whatever. They go and fawn over Overeem, who has to go do a Keystone Cops Naked Gun run away from the police to get away from his test, and then he pops dirty anyways. They go in there and have that fucking sideshow with Vitor over his situation, and then magically, 2 minutes after the hearing is over, they announce Vitor and Weidman signed in the books, ready to go. Like, that is the shit that makes it look not transparent and not above board. Like, not Dana going down in like a bald baby rage and removing a judge who is obviously fucking incompetent. So that's kind of my stance on it. Greedy shouldn't have done it. It's a better way. But in all honesty, I really don't have that big of a problem with it.
I completely agree with Tom. Obviously, he overstepped his bounds. We see that he clearly doesn't have the authority to do it, and on that front, you guys are all completely correct that he should not have done that. But like Tom said, look at the problem with judging in the sport. We've seen it time and again, as he's mentioned, all these terrible things. So I agree with him.
Do you agree with who?
With Tom.
Okay.
His name's Earl, but I mean, that's
fair.
What is a Tom?
Dateline, hippie shoes, if I remember correctly. Dateline, Sacramento, California. There's a really depressing pay-per-view event on this weekend, so let's depress ourselves by getting into it.
Let me get my razors.
Oh. Hey, real quick through the preliminaries here, just give me a winner, and if you want to give me a method, go ahead. But you know what? Don't. I don't have time for this. So just a preliminary card here on UFC Fight Pass in the lightweight division. Kane Carrizosa against Chris Wade. Left to right. Ben?
Wade.
The corporate Kane.
Wade.
Oh, you.
The Demon Kane.
The big red retard Kane.
Pete Rose?
No contest.
Andy Dalton?
Chris Wade.
In the bantamweight division, Anthony Burchak takes on Joe Soto.
Soto.
Bird shit.
I'm actually really high on Burchak.
That's not his name.
Soto.
Burchak.
In the heavyweight division, Anthony Hamilton takes on Ruan Potts.
Hamilton.
Potts.
The next heavyweight contender.
No. I'm not picking either one of these fucking guys.
Hamilton or Poots?
No contest.
Tim Boots.
Listen.
Split draw.
Tom Boats.
I don't even know who's up.
Why is this fight happening?
Nolan, your answer?
I hope one of them busts his head on a pipe backstage like Kevin Randleman. Hamilton, I guess.
420 Blaze it, Ruin Pot.
Maybe he'll pull a Tim Means.
In the flyweight division, Henry Cejudo against Scott Jorgensen.
Oh, Cejudo.
Yeah, Cejudo.
Yeah, Cejudo, unfortunately.
There won't be a finish, but...
Jorgensen, after Cejudo weighs in at 142 pounds and then goes missing the day of the fight.
Takes.
Cejudo.
Sagetto.
Taylor, does Bray Wyatt know that you stole that shirt from him?
Peace.
I bought it at American Eagle for $7. I'm pretty proud of it. Thank you.
He certainly did in the middleweight division. Derek Brunson versus Lorenz Larkin.
Brunson.
Bronson.
Brunson.
Larkin.
Guys, remember that time that Robbie Lawler lost to Lorenz Larkin and people still think he's better than Condit? Brunson.
Now on to the main card, which they have the audacity to charge you $55 for. Give me a winner and a method of victory, if you will. In the lightweight division, Damon Jackson takes on Yancy Medeiros.
Medeiros decision.
Medeiros, blah, blah, fuck it.
Blah, blah, blah.
Jackson, second round submission.
Son of a bitch.
Jackson, unanimous decision.
Medeiros decision.
Medeiros decision.
In the lightweight division, Carlos Diego Ferreira against Ramsey Nijam.
Are we still on the prelims?
No.
We are on the main card of the evening.
Son of a bitch.
The last fight wasn't prelims either.
Oh,
No,
Jesus.
it just seems like we're on the prelims of a Fox Sports 2 card.
Okay.
These are the fights that 6 people will be paying $55 to see.
We're getting near the fight past main event, guys. Don't worry.
Oh, you.
Fuck you.
Carlos Diego Ferreira is taking on Ramsey Nijam.
I don't want to pick this fight.
Well,
you
don't,
can't
you
do
bag
my
of shit.
Carlos Diego Ferreira.
Yeah.
Brandon Thatch.
Ninja.
Ramsey.
Ferreira?
Nijam.
Ben Cohn's favorite fighter, Ramsey Nijam.
Hope you die, Nolan.
For a unanimous decision.
In the women's bantamweight division. Oh, man, this card. In the women's bantamweight division, Matt Correa takes on Shayna Baszler.
Your real co-main event.
The people's co-main event.
Beth O'Hara to absolutely destroy Shayna Baszler and make it the 3 donkeys and fucking run.
Fucking nailed it!
Actually, Ben, it would have been 2 because she
Yeah, we're
already
down to
beat
2 donkeys now.
Jessamine Duke.
Yeah, she already beat. That's true.
She's gonna beat Steve Mongo McMichael by whatever the hell unanimous decision. It really doesn't fucking matter at all.
Yeah, what Earl said. Correa by decision, I guess. I don't care.
Correa round 2 TKO.
She beat Paul Roma, and I agree with Earl. She's going to take out Mongo McMichael by decision.
Like, my favorite thing about Shayna Baszler is that losing to Betch Correa is still going to be the second most embarrassing thing that happened to her this August after desperately seeking attention at SummerSlam.
Oh my god, can you get your head into the frame any goddamn more?
Guys, I'm Ronda Rousey's friend. I fight. Fuck you.
I play a guitar on the way to the ring. Yeah?
Like a mariachi?
Well, I don't personally, Earl, but
Oh.
Shayna Baszler has taken a electric guitar to the cage with her for fights.
Like Jeff Jarrett.
I'd rather take a guitar string to my neck.
Don't soil double F J double R E double T's name like that. That's double J Jeff Jarrett.
In the co-main event of this pay-per-view, in the
This is the
lightweight
most time
division,
we've ever spent doing predictions for a card.
it just seems that way, Taylor.
When it's that
Danny Castillo against Tony Ferguson.
Ferguson KO 2.
Castillo UD.
Yeah, Castillo grinds out one of the worst co-main event victories in UFC history.
Watch your back, Struve McCorkle.
Ferguson a good wrestler though?
Ferguson KO.
Ferguson KO.
Oh boy, I wish I could do a whole fucking breakdown of this. Castillo decision. Fucking team headbands.
In the main event of the evening in a rematch for the UFC's Bantamweight Championship of this world, TJ Dillashaw defends against Henan Barao.
Dillashaw decision.
This is the weirdest fucking sentence I've ever said. Yeah, TJ Dillashaw by dominant UD to retain the title.
Dillashaw by 7th round knockout.
There
By
aren't
the
even
time
that
Henning
many
gets,
rounds.
by the
You don't
time
even know how
Henning
many
gets,
rounds
by
there
the
are.
time Henning gets
You're not
knocked out,
qualified to
he's
talk
going to be
about
very
this.
confused.
You don't even know how many rounds there are. Get this fucking jamoke out of here.
Dillashaw via UD.
Yeah, Dillashaw decision.
Guys, I swear to Jesus that... Well...
And on that note, we will see you 1 week from today, every Tuesday.
Edinburgh, how you doing?
Scream that wrong prediction at the last second there, Taylor.
We will see you in 1 week from today, every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, the Undercard Supercast. Follow us on Twitter at Undercard Super. Visit our website, undercardsuperstar.com. Thank you for watching, and fuck the horsewomen.